Just gross baseball in Houston. Welcome to Final Out. It's Brodes kicking it with you here on WIP. 215-592-9494. That's the phone number. We are reacting to the disgraceful offense. Unbelievable. They lose this afternoon 2-1. What am I supposed to be happy? They broke a 26-inning streak of not being able to score? Come on, man. What an embarrassment. And then they gave it right back. And then I had to watch Nick Castellanos at the end of the game. I threw up. That is the worst at-bat in the history of at-bats. It's unbelievable. That's the problem with this team. Whenever they do something well, like take 2 out of 3 against the Mets, they do this. And this is the fear that a lot of us have when thinking about the playoffs. This type of stretch, it happens all the time. Maybe not to this extreme, but it happens all the time where they don't know what the hell they're doing, and they have to get their head out of their ass. And they look awful at the plate. Please, with this Hunter Brown crap. I know he's great. Shut up. Their pitching wasn't that phenomenal all week. It was more about the abysmal approach. It was more about the disgusting offense and the way that they just fell flat on their face after doing something good against the New York Mets, getting us to buy back in. Now it's making me wonder if it was really just about how poorly the Mets have been playing and less about how well the Phillies did. Maybe they just did what all these other teams are doing, and that's annihilate a team that is free-falling. Let's get to the wrap-up, which is sponsored by Roto-Rooter. When plumbing problems hit, wrap them up quick and call Roto-Rooter. Their team tackles clogs and leaks so you can stay in the game. Roto-Rooter, your MVP for plumbing solutions. It's kind of an easy one here to wrap up. There wasn't much offensively. In the second inning, the Astros took a lead 1-0 with a Diaz single to center. And in the eighth, we finally, for the first time in what felt like 6,000 years, were able to get a run across home plate with a Brandon Marsh sacrifice fly to right field. It just stinks that I had to watch Kerkering for the first time in a while allow a run when he plunked somebody the bottom of the eighth. As soon as you tied it up to think maybe there could be some momentum and good mojo, you just handed it right back. Handed it right back on a silver platter. It is so painful. Trey Turner, 0-for. Kyle Schwarber, 0-for. These are the top guys. And Schwarber struck out 3 times, including the 9th inning when the team needed something. I needed to see him get on base. I needed to see him give this team a spark, whether it was with a solo shot to tie the game, to push this things maybe to extras, or who knows, maybe the 9th could have been more than just 1 run. Hey, here's a crazy thought. Score 2 runs in the 9th. Just saying. Take the lead and shut it down. How dare I propose that? Shame on me for thinking that's a possibility. Boom, in the 3-hole, 0-for-4. Here's your top 3 guys in the lineup today. Going 0-for-12, and if you want to factor in Nick, who had 1 hit, but I balanced that out with the garbage 9th, so he had no hits. That's how my brain works. That 9th inning evaporates all the other at-bats in the series. That's how disgusting of an at-bat that was. Kemp, 0-for. Come on! Come on! The biggest takeaway of the game, brought to you by Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Here's the biggest takeaway of the game. This team is so damn inconsistent, it's going to stop a lot of us from buying in seriously. Because this little hiccup, if that's what you want to call it, it happens very often. Too many hiccups. And you can't go from the NLDS through the World Series. And if you got to play in the wild card, then that's even more playoff baseball you have to factor in. But you can't survive that length of baseball without having a hiccup, the way the Phillies are constructed. And if that's the case, that's going to be their kryptonite. Listen, I take phone calls every day in 215-592-9494, and I get a very similar message from the optimists. They say this, Brodes, their starting pitching is too great. And to that, I say, shove it. It doesn't matter. I just watched their starting pitching be electric. I watched Ranger. I watched Sanchez. I watched these guys go out there and perform at a high level. When these type of hiccups come up offensively, it doesn't matter how good your how good your starting pitching is. Because their lows and their offensive issues are so bad that even this level of elite starting pitching can't win you games. It's a shame. It shouldn't be this way. I feel bad for the starters, but it's the truth. Let's go to the phones as we react here on Final Out, 215-592-9494. Let's kick things off with Jared. You're on WIP. What's up, Jared?
Hey, how you guys doing? I called in this morning and had to hang up going to work, and my point at the time was right after the interview with Dave saying he's not going to add a bat or he's comfortable with what we have, you get shut out 2 games in a row. Well, here's game 3, putting one up after 3 quality starts. If that's not a sign that you got to add a bat, not just right-handed, maybe even another, because we've seen them go cold. We've seen them get no hit in the World Series, and the bats go ice in the playoffs. The move has to be made.
Yeah, Jared, I agree completely. Here's the problem, though. Dave Dombrowski did so little in the offseason that now he put himself in a position where he needs to get a bat, and to your point, maybe a few, and then he also needs to get a few bullpen guys, and it's just impossible to do that in one swing at the deadline. So he put this franchise in such a disastrous spot by how he did not address the team in the offseason, and it's just one big snowball effect. But you're right, they need a bat, Jared. There's no doubt about it.
And you can put a starter in a bullpen, that's fine, but yeah, you're going to need another strong arm, and we saw Kirkring today. He's not a closer. We like him, but you got to get someone else there, and you're right, too much at the deadline is needed, so we are in a tough spot unless these guys or the Stotts and the Marshes can turn it around in time, but we'll have a great record. We'll get in the playoffs, but the second they go cold, it's over, and especially in a wild card round. You
nailed it, Jared. Thank you so much for the call. You nailed it. And that's something that I've been really talking about for a while now with this group is they're going to win 90-plus games. They're going to win a lot of games against teams in the regular season. But there is something that is stopping me from putting my feet in the water all the way up to the knees. I'm just going with my toes because I know deep down when I watch this group, something's missing. Because I'm seeing it today. Brodes, don't overreact. Look at where they are in the standings compared to all the other teams in Major League Baseball. I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn. I watch the team on a day-to-day basis, just like all of you. Something is wrong with this baseball team. And you saw that in Houston. Think about this. This bullpen is horrible. Horrible. Absolutely horrible. There's one guy in there, and I give him a half of a guy in Kirkering. He's good. He's not an established, serious weapon. He's kind of good. So he's a half a guy. That's how bad this bullpen is. Yet you can make a legitimate argument that they need a bat more than a bullpen. Let that sink in. With how atrocious this bullpen is, the fact that you can debate it, that there's something else to get instead of the bullpen, holy hell. I'm sick to my stomach. Let's go to Matt in Germantown. What's up, Matt?
What's up? How you doing, bro?
Good. How are you?
I'm alive, but I'm definitely not feeling it on what the Phillies front office is doing, watching all these innings, and nobody – we have such a good pitching staff. I don't understand how our pitching staff can't recognize when we're getting hit with the same stuff they do to other players. Like, if they're throwing nothing but sliders and curves, don't you think you need to, like, shift your focus on how you're swinging at bat, not just get up there and just swinging and guessing. I feel like that's a lot of what they're doing, and they kind of dropped the ball with that, and that's it.
Yeah, listen, dude, Nick Castellanos has been swinging at the same crap since he put on a Phillies uniform, and he even publicly admitted that he doesn't even care about stuff. He just looks at it as batting practice. So, to your point, if it looks that way, and he also admits that he attacks it that way in the box, then yeah, you're right on. This is what he does, and it's just so hard to fathom that we're still talking about the same issues that we did 3 years ago with this team.
No, you're right, bro. I just don't understand. Like, are we pitching little leaguers or are we pitching people that make hundreds of millions of dollars? Like, that's where I'm at with it. Which one is it?
Yeah, no, listen, I appreciate the call, Matt. Was he maybe lost him a little bit there on the pitching part of it compared to the hitting part of it? Our pitching, unless you talk about the bullpen in general, but the starters have been fantastic. It's, again, you want to talk about absurd? Just like I laid out with the deadline on how crazy it is that you can debate hitting over this bullpen, the fact that this starting staff is giving you what they're giving you and you're getting swept, that is impossible. Impossible. To get the starting that you're getting from Sanchez and Ranger. Sanchez went 6 and allowed 1 earned run with 11 Ks. You lost. Ranger was out of his mind the other night. You lost. You're losing 1-0, 2-0, 2-1. Oh my gosh. It is so pathetic. It is so pathetic. 215-592-9494. That's where we get started on this final out. We will continue rocking your phone calls. Ed, coming up next, we got the player of the game, we got the pitch count and the injury report. There is an update on Bryce Harper. We'll talk about it all. As the Phillies lose 2-1 in Houston, they get swept. Garbage. Straight up garbage. It's Brodes. It's final out. It's 94 WIP. This team is so frustrating. I've never seen such a good, bad baseball team in my life. That's what they are. They're a great, horrendous baseball team. And that's what makes us as aggravated as we get. Because we see there are signs of something that could be scary. But then this is loser baseball, man. Come on. How is your offense this dead, this quiet? Welcome back to Final Out. It's Brodes kicking it with you. 215-592-9494. We are going to continue taking your phone calls with a bunch of frustration, as you should have a lot of frustration. The player of the game is brought to you by South Jersey Gas. Over 100 years of reliability. Always dependable. Always ready. SouthJerseyGas.com/lovemyhome. Unfortunately, we have to look Houston's way, and we'll go with Hunter Brown, who continues to have a sensational season. 7 strong, 0 earned runs, no walked batters. That's one thing, Houston, you just take a look at the limited amount of walks. When you keep guys off the base for free, you're going to do a good job. Plus, when the Phillies have garbage approaches at the plate, you're going to shoot yourself in the foot as well. But his ERA is 1.74 at this point. It is no joke.
No, he's disgusting.
He's disgusting. But I don't want to allow that to be an excuse. He is really good. Okay, for example, if they played this series out and Game 1 was 7-6, they win. Game 2, their offense was a little quiet. Let's say they lose 3-1. And then Hunter Brown comes out today and shoves, but your offense wasn't this disastrous for 3 straight games and 26 scoreless innings in a row, then fine.
Also, that Colton Gordon guy they faced last night he's a joke.
You can't see 2 different extremes than that. You know what I mean? You're damn right. You nailed it. You got an example of a stiff that's mowing you down like he's Randy Johnson in his prime. And then you got Hunter Brown. And you look the same in the box. How? How is that humanly possible? How do you look the same? Look in the mirror. I got to hear Rob Thompson talk about we got to get back to our basics and our standards. What is that? Because to me, this is kind of the basic and the standard of the way this offense is. Seriously. If I had to define this team offensively, it would be closer to this than not. So what basics and standard are we getting back to? Whew. To the phones. Bree, you're on WIP. What's up, Bree?
Hey, Brodes, how you doing, pal?
I'm doing all right. I'm a little aggravated, but other than that, things are swell.
I mean, I'm rather aggravated as well. I don't understand. I'm having a really hard time understanding what the freaking problem is. And I feel so bad for our starting pitchers because they just keep going out and pitching gems. And we have a baseball team that clearly doesn't know how to play baseball.
You're correct.
I don't know where we go from here. And I swear to God, if I had a nickel for every time I heard Rob Thompson answer a question with, we have to get back to the basics, I'd be a millionaire.
That would be nice if you were a millionaire.
I hear him say that all the time. I'm like, well, why haven't you gotten back to them yet? I'm not satisfied with him. I think he needs to be fired.
Wow, you're calling for Topper's job here.
I am. Because he doesn't answer the questions, and it's just so, everything's fine. Clearly it's not.
I feel you. Bree, I feel you on frustration all across the board, and thank you so much for the call. I love the passion. I'm not there with Topper. I don't love everything Topper did. For example, I don't think it was right to put Sanchez back in this game in the 7th, but I didn't mind it when he did it with Ranger the other night, just based off of feel. I was okay with it with Ranger. Now, some nobody, Hummel, ends up going yard against him. You just tip your cap. But I was okay with that decision out of him. I didn't like it with Sanchez. They ended up getting a double, but got out of it anyway with Lazar. We can talk about managerial decisions all across the board, game by game. There's many in each game, and some are going to work, some are not going to work. I think the biggest issue with this team is their roster is extremely flawed all across the board. Their bullpen is atrocious, where Rob clearly has shown this year that he is willing to push his starters an extra inning when it's obvious they don't have it.
Yeah, like even today with Sanchez,
Yes.
like, he probably shouldn't have gone back out there for that next inning. And I mean, he allows the base runner and Max Lazar gets out of it, but you're putting Max Lazar in that spot in a one-run game. That's obviously not the guy you want there. So.
Right, but you just don't have options.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I thought it was already a stretch to let him go another inning, especially when you have 3 right-handers coming up.
Yeah, and he has that 92 or so pitches at the time. So I've seen Rob try and push our amazing staff one inning a little too long because that's better than all the crap that's in your pen. So it's a Dombrowski thing. You want to talk about something where who deserves to blame? I mean, this is 95% Dave Dombrowski. With the lackadaisical offseason, he didn't do anything. He didn't do anything. His bullpen got way worse. He tried to trade Bohm, but couldn't, therefore didn't do enough. And he paid Max Kepler a ridiculous amount of money to be platooned with Otto Kemp. That was his big addition. A guy who gets platooned with Otto frickin' Kemp. Let's get to the injury report, which is brought to you by the Plumbers Union Local 690, protecting the health of the nation. Visit plumber690.org. Here's your update on Bryce Harper. This was pregame. This is according to Matt Gelb. Another good day for Bryce Harper, Rob Thompson said. He took 75 swings off the high-velocity machine. He'll hit outside Friday at Truist Park. Phillies may or may not find a live arm to throw to him. Monday looks possible. I'm just delivering the message. That's the latest. Let's go to Dante in West Philly. What's happening, Dante? Going once.
My bad.
All good.
Yeah, man. It's disappointing, man. As a starting pitcher for this squad, like it got to be disappointing for y'all to go ahead and throw 8 innings, 11 strikeouts, 7 innings, 11 strikeouts, just to get a game right up. Like this team is so inconsistent. It's ridiculous, and it's like at this point, it's like Dave Dombrowski. I don't know what he's seeing. Every time he comes to the podium and speaks to the media, He's just so calm and I know it's a lot of baseball, 162 games. But God damn, please get us some help. Max Kepler, he's hitting 209, and you platoon him. He can't hit lefties. He coming to the plate almost bad as Nick Castillo. All three of them hacking that pitcher on a bunch of nonsense and getting struck out from our like what you say, our main hitters from 2 to 4. This is ridiculous. And it's like, I don't want to say I'm out on this team because I love the Phillies, but at the same time, it's like something got to change.
You're right. No, something, and that's why, Dante, and thank you for the call. That's why they tried to move Bohm, because they knew something had to change, but didn't. So then they admitted that we knew something needed to go. We needed to get a facelift. Have to. To the point where we are going to move our starting all-star third baseman, Alec Bohm, after we benched him in the playoffs. And they decided, what the hell? Let's get another crack at it. Oh, okay. Yeah, and you expected different results. It's ridiculous. 215-592-9494. I see you lined up. Let's talk about it, because this team pisses me off, and I know they piss you off, so let's vent together as the Phillies get swept in Houston with a non-existent offense.
By the way, before we go to break real quick,
Yeah.
I've been with you, I think, for like every horrific Phillies sweep, everything. Like last weekend, they have the best weekend in a long time. I'm not with you. This is unbelievable. We can't be together after these losses.
Yeah, you're right, because I was going to ask you if you're feeling similar to me, because every time we line up, here I am turning purple in my face, and you feel a little more optimistic.
I swear, the last 4, it's been like just horrific losses / series. So
it follows us.
Yeah, Rod, figure out with the scheduling, because it's not working.
Oh, man. 215-592-9494. This is Final Out. Coming up next, we will continue taking your calls and reacting to this madness. It's Brodes. It's 94 WIP. I cannot believe they're getting swept, losing 1-0, 2-0, 2-1. It's a disgrace. This baseball team is a flat-out mess, and the problem is they're too inconsistent. Not that I'm breaking any news, but when you watch this squad have this weird funk, and it's never going away, they always flirt it in there. How can you possibly survive a wild card round through a World Series without this happening? Let's pretend this is an NLDS. Well, your ass is going home. It's what it is. Done. Pack your bags. Get the golf clubs going. You lost. If this is a 7-game series, same thing. Now you're down 3-0 because your offense can't show. Well, they're going to get so red hot, they now start smacking 15 runs a pop, and now they're going to win 4 straight? Please. So the fact that we now have to debate right-handed bat, bullpen, how are we having a debate about needing something more than this bullpen? The fact that you have to debate that at all is a fireable offense for Dave Dombrowski. How? This bullpen sucks. The bullpen is one of the worst bullpens ever assembled. And that's saying a lot for me, considering I watched this team with Brandon Workman and Heath Hembry. Remember that? Remember those games? You'd be up 8-1, you lose 9-8 every night. This team reminds me of that. Not really, but really. Follow me. I'm exaggerating. In what world do we now have to choose? You have to choose? And Dave's mentioning with Jason Stark, well, we're not even going to address the lineup. You're not going to address the lineup. What do you mean? That's your job. That's what you get paid to do. It's because he knows there's so many holes in the bullpen. So there's so many holes in the bullpen, he can't address the holes in the lineup. Because there's no way that Dave Dombrowski watches these games and thinks that he doesn't need a bat, right? Because, again, that would be a fireable offense. That can't be it. If that's it, woof. 215-592-9494. Let's go to Kurt in South Jersey. What's up, Kurt?
Yo, Brodes. I got to say, first-time caller. Love the content on the socials. Listen in anytime you're on the radio.
Well, thank you, man. I greatly appreciate that.
Yes, sir. So, first, I want to talk you off the ledge a little bit. I think there's a lot of hope as a holistic Philly fan.
Okay.
The Sixers pick over the next 2-3 years, I could see paying off. Next season, I think, is going to be a wash no matter what. That being said, that gives me a little bit of hope to be a contender again in the next, like I said, 2-3 years. As for the Flyers, Zegras moves the needle of hope, gives us more hope for that rebuild. And, of course, I don't even have to mention the Eagles. I share your frustration when it comes to the Phillies, and I got to ask, who is to blame? Whose head do we need to see on a spike? Because I don't know if Rob or Dombrowski necessarily are the ones that have all the blame. I think it's probably a combination of both. I would like to see more curiosity out of Rob. He's a little bit too chill in moments like this, but let me know what you think about Rob's personality. If you think he's the best possible manager, the way he's so chill, or do you think he could be more fiery? And do you think Dombrowski is to blame for putting this roster in this position? Other than that, I'll let you take it from there, man.
Well, thanks, Kurt. I appreciate the phone call and all the kind words. Do I think Rob is a little too chill? Yes. Yes, I do. Do I think Rob is a really good manager? Yes. Yes, I do. I think Dave Dombrowski is to blame for a lot of this. I think Dave Dombrowski constructed a hot garbage team. I'm just being honest with you. When I say hot garbage, it's in reference to trying to win a World Series hot garbage, not Chicago White Sox hot garbage. All right? They're going to win a lot of regular season games, but they're not going to win a championship as constructed. And that was clear, and that was obvious, and that was seen with anybody with brain cells in the offseason. So I think Dave Dombrowski has a lot of blame. Now, this is where I have trouble with the Rob thing. Do I think Rob Thompson can win a World Series the way he manages? Without a doubt. I do. I think Rob Thompson is a manager that is very capable of winning a World Series with the right talent, without a doubt. And there's no manager that can win the World Series without the talent, okay? It's just not possible. No manager is going to will their way to a World Series if they have bad bullpen, inconsistent offense, and whatever. Just great starting pitching. No, it's either going to be the players are good enough or they're not good enough, right? But managerial-wise, I do think that Rob Thompson can impact the game the way a manager does with the ceiling that is enough to win a championship with a roster that's constructed right. But I want Dave Dombrowski fired. And if I want Dave Dombrowski fired, I want a new president, and I want that president to bring in something different. So it would be by association, not by Rob deserving it, based off of who I think he is. Now, I could live with bringing in a new president and keeping Rob. I don't know my stance yet. I actually think that there's a world where I may root for that. Firing Dave, keeping Rob. Because I think Rob is a really good manager. But I wonder if the team has just had enough with the core. And Rob being a part of that core. Where, again, it's just by association, not because he's not good at his job. So, I'm in a weird spot here. I think right now, I don't have a lot of time to chew on this yet. And it's not really sinking in. But I would say Dave deserves a lot of the blame, 90 to 95% of the blame, and I want somebody new at president in the offseason when this thing collapses, unfortunately, and I think I'd keep Rob. But that's a little weird, just because you get a new president, you get a whole new fresh start, that kind of vibe. But that's how I see it. Oof. You'd have to, and here's another problem. And maybe, I love Kyle Schwarber. We all love Kyle Schwarber. But he's inconsistent as a hitter. Maybe it's not the worst idea to let him go. Maybe it's not the worst idea to say we're not signing him. Because as great as he is, and he is great, I love Kyle Schwarber. So this is painful to say. I'm very emotional right now. But let's not act as if he's just tearing the cover off the ball all day long here. If you look at his numbers through June, he's hitting 207. 207 in the month of June with 5 homers. He's a part of when the offense goes rough. He is. And it stinks because we love him. But he's a part of the problem when the offense goes cold. You're going to have to get a whole refresh in the offseason. JT, Kyle. The one guy who I think that you got to make a decision on is Ranger. Because what you can't do is let that type of talent leave where you get nothing in return. And you're not going to trade him because you're trying to make a push for a World Series. So maybe that's where the money goes. You could sell me that. And then you can change the lineup a little bit by moving on from JT, moving on from Kyle, maybe trying to trade Nick in the offseason with 1 year left on his deal. See what this series has me talking about firing Dave in the offseason and how we can change the lineup in the offseason. What a joke. What a joke. And I'm not wrong for my brain to transition this far ahead. Okay? I'm right. But that's how bad this is. Just to put it in perspective. I got lost, all right? I got carried away there a little bit. Because today's not the day for those topics. But that's how down bad I am on this group. When they play awful, it is just terrible. And then I have to start questioning real philosophies with this group and how they're built. Because there's something wrong. And if you don't see it, you're nuts. Let's go to Dennis in Newtown. What's up, Dennis?
You know, I'm tired of this BS there. What about the off season? I thought they came up with a new approach. It's the same damn approach like you said in the playoffs. They're swinging at butterflies, man. You know, what about Long, the hitting coach? Harper loves him. Schwarber loves. You know what? Somebody's got to go.
Agreed.
Okay, I don't care who it is. And what about the guy a couple calls ago? He could Cal Stevenson. Get rid of that stiff because you got to get somebody off the 40-man and bring up Crawford. For Christ's sake, do something.
Yeah, but I think Crawford's not going to wow anybody. Apparently, he doesn't hit the ball off the ground. It's not a good. If he's not good enough, putting him in this position, I think, is unfair to him.
Well, you might ruin him. I agree with that.
Yeah, if he's not ready, then it's not right.
Somebody's got to go that's going to piss them off because they're, $30 million. They're running the team. It's not the coaches. It's not the players. The 30 million guys are running the team. They swing at the first pitch. Doesn't anybody work the count anymore?
No.
Swing. The ball's 3 feet outside. They're swinging at it.
Nick, on that final at-bat by Nick, that should have him out of the lineup for 3 months.
He wanted to go home. I
3
think
months.
He had to go to the bathroom or something.
It sure did look that way, Dennis.
He's awful. When he's good, but he pisses me off.
I know.
I want to punch some of those guys out,
wow.
really.
Well, Dennis, I appreciate the call. Listen, I'm not causing physical harm to these people.
You think he's punching his seat in his car right now?
I get the frustration without a doubt. I don't think we can call for physical abuse to these players.
Nice out, Dennis. Enjoy it.
Nick does piss me off.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, this team makes me cry. They make me cry. I don't get it. I just don't understand. Because they should be better than this. It's one of those things where when I destroy them and I rip them apart, I'm aware that I didn't, because I always get hit with this. If you didn't see them make enough change in the offseason and you knew that they were flawed, why do you get angry when they show they are flawed? And it's a fair question. It really is. It's a fair question. But when you see these guys, and when we watch them be on pace for 90-something wins, and they're starting pitching, and, all this, even if I expect them to have flaws, they just got swept by allowing 5 runs. That's a whole new extreme of unacceptable. If I watch their flaws play out at a reasonable level, then I think I could swallow that pill a little easier. When it goes to an extreme abomination, that's when I start losing my cool. That's when I start getting aggravated and when I start really getting pissed. But to Dennis's point, Kevin Long should be fired. I've been calling for Kevin Long's job forever now. I just want people to be angry. I want people to get uncomfortable. I don't care care that he's whatever the word is, revered. What's the word? I don't know.
Revered. He's revered
Sure.
by everyone in the league.
No,
Who cares?
Whoop-de-damn-do.
What happens when you're in the MLB for 20 years?
Yeah, whoop-de-damn-do.
Doc Rivers is also revered, huh? Yeah.
That's
I
an
don't
excellent
care.
point.
Whatever his approach isn't working.
Yup.
3 years.
That's
Same
a great
thing.
point. You're right. Doc Rivers, same thing. Yeah. Woohoo. Great stuff. I mean, get Kevin Long out of here. He didn't do anything. He had one job this offseason. One job. I didn't see a change from this group.